started Parker School, it was a third Parker Ranch employees' kids. It was started to be an alternative to having to come to Honokaa, for high school, or to HBA, which nobody could afford. So it was, what has occurred is that you tear down the old buildings, you put up a "whoa" instead of a stop sign, you do the facades of the shopping centers so that they look Western, you recreate something that you've already destroyed. And the other thing is that the Cowboys feel very disenfranchised. And, you go to, occasionally, I don't go too often, and I shouldn't be doing this on camera, but I go to, yeah. Occasionally I go to the, and I used to be on the board of the Waimea Kwaihae, it was called in those days, Community Association. I was a historic sites person. That's how I got a lot of these old photos from the 70s of these buildings that are no longer there. But I go to the community meetings now, and you hardly see anybody that that's not the gang that's coming to these meetings. And there's so many different, you've got the Lalamilo farmers, mainly Japanese, you've got all these pockets of people that don't, kind of interact and come together. This is something I kept saying to, many of you guys know, Kapalala Plunkett, I kept saying to him and everything, you've got to present his fascinating, wonderful research to as many of these groups as possible. Don't expect to go to the big community association meeting and hit the people that you're going to necessarily want. You've got to go to the farmers co-op meetings. You've got to go to, all of these others, because they do not come together. And, so it's, so to answer your question, I think there are all kinds of places this model could be done. And I'm, and we're making tons of mistakes, and we're making, Eric, when you say, being an archivist, I mean, sometimes, you just go, because we're being given stuff constantly, and it's keeping, you guys know this, keeping up with the cataloging and yes, UH is supportive, but they also don't know what the heck to do with us. It's like, who are these people out here that go idiots doing whatever? Oh, it's just Momi, let her go. But it's for real. I mean, it's like, I sit there and I, trying to explain that we need archival materials, and we need this, and we need that. And, people are just like, they have art galleries, most of the campuses do, but this is the first heritage center that's been built. And it's, to me, the acting chancellor was through the other day, and I actually said this stuff to her. I said, you guys don't know what to do with us. It's like, and what's going to happen if UH decides we can't do this anymore? What am I going to do with all the artifacts? What are we going to do with all the, actually it's not going to be my problem, is it? All what's going to happen? And when you take in things, and that's the other thing, you hear people go, oh, I want to start a museum. I don't tell you how many people say that. Museums are not just, let's put up some pictures. I mean, Roseanne Barr's two daughters want to start one down the street here. It's, it's the curation, it's the research on these collections. It's the, the educational programs that you want to build around it. It's a whole myriad of things. It's not just that, let's put cool things up in a building that I've collected forever, kind of an idea. But I think you have, let me put it this way, I think you have pockets where you can still do this. And, when I lived down at Naughton in the early 70s, it was still a fishing village. I mean, I lived in Bob Leslie's house, we were, right there. There was, it was, everybody were fishermen. So they were drying Opello in the front yard. Look at how that place is flipped. Now you've got all these McMansions, it's a whole different ballgame. So it's difficult when you're trying to, find these little enclaves, these culture kipukas, basically where you could develop this type of thing. As I said, we lucked out in that this town is actually, I believe, the largest wood-framed plantation town that's still intact in Hawaii. And it's, you know, it's a cool building, and cool buildings, and they keep trying to draw in heritage tourism or, you know, that kind of thing. And people have come up to me going, ooh, why don't we have people dress in palaka like plantation workers and walk up and down? And I thought, how humiliating for the people who were plantation workers. You know, I mean, what you guys do is excellent. I have to say, I've always said that the farm tour is one of the best things I've seen. But when you start to, you know, particularly when you have that group of, you know, like I said, plantation workers, and we're talking, you know, broke the back kind of work. And you want other people, probably who aren't even from here, to dress up like plantation people and go up and down the street talking to tourists. To me, that's really fake. And, you know, and it's not